Pimon!
They're scary, they're revolting, and they make life difficult for people to breathe. But for all the bad rep they get, a horror fan's life would be quite colorless without them. They have existed as a narrative device as far back as the first fallen angel, and despite the thousands of years, they still give birth to stories that scare and enthrall us all. In this episode of Marvelous Videos, we will look at the cornerstone of horror movies, demons. We will be looking at the baddest of them ever to grace the screen. Let the exorcism begin! Before we get into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Pazuzu The Exorcist. Immortalized in the minds of moviegoers, Pazuzu first graced the silver screen in the 1973 film The Exorcist. Based on the works of William Peter Blatty, Pazuzu was inspired by Babylonian and Assyrian mythology, where he was a king of the demons of the wind. The mythology shows him having both human and animal features. He has the body of a man, the feet of an eagle, 2 wings, a tail, and a head that has been depicted as either a lion's or a dog's. In the Exorcist universe, Pazuzu is present throughout the 5 films, and the TV series that premiered in 2016. The films chronicle his battles with Father Merrin over decades, starting all the way from Iraq to the possession of the 12-year-old Regan McNeil. He's shown to be capable of psychological torment, body contortions, and even causing famines and locust attacks. Pazuzu is mostly remembered for his impact when people first witnessed him in the 70s. The film had such a fearsome effect on audiences that some even claimed watching it could cause possessions. It also lays the blueprint for what demon possession looks like in cinema, and hence it remains to date the most recognizable demon in movie history. The Deadites and Kandarian Demon, the Evil Dead series. It is in the dark woods of the forest within an ancient book where we find the next demon on our list. The Kandarian Demon and its Deadites are introduced to us in Sam Raimi's Evil Dead in 1981. The Kandarian Demon was a primeval force on Earth long before humans developed. It watched humanity take its first steps from the shadows. Necronomicon Ex Mortis, or the Book of the Dead, is the vessel for the demon to come forth. As we see in the movie, a group of friends accidentally wakes up the demon when they read from this book bound in human flesh and written in blood. While the demon is the prime mover, the Deadites are its loyal soldiers. They can infect any living or non-living thing that is made of flesh as their master's command. They are essentially evil spirits that can possess and torment the living by turning them into bloodthirsty, grotesque creatures. The Kandarian Demon is an unkillable force. It can never be destroyed completely, but can only be contained. Similar to their master, the Deadites are also extremely hard to kill. They can only be subdued if they're burned, or if the bodies they possess are chopped into pieces. The demon is capable of shape-shifting and causing hallucinations in its victims. It can also travel at great speed in its non-physical form and has super strength, but the scariest power of the demon lies in its very nature. It's not a single entity, but rather a presence, a force that can manifest itself and drive its victims to a painful and bloody end. The Lipstick-Faced Demon, Insidious. Don't be thrown off by the weird name, because this demon from the Insidious franchise is a heavyweight in its own right. Known by many names such as the Red-Faced Demon, the Visitor, etc., it's most commonly referred to as Sixtas in the series. Sixtas is the ruler of an astral world known as the Further, a world filled with malevolent spirits and lost souls. Since this astral dimension is separate from the real world, the demon's main aim is always to possess a living body so that it can travel to the real world to unleash its carnage. There's no origin story that viewers are made aware of, but it is hinted that the demon has existed for centuries. It waits for accidental visitors to the Further to exercise its evil plans. This also forms the plot for the Insidious series, when Dalton Lambert, a child gifted with astral travel, catches its eye. The most recognizable feature of Sixtas is its red-colored face and cracked skin, which also gives it its name. It also has a tail. Each time it's near or appears in a scene, it's accompanied by a chilling, crackling sound. Pimon, Hereditary. Horror movies often show evil spirits and demons as unstable, violent beings, but that's not the case with Pimon. The main antagonist of the film Hereditary by Ari Aster, which came out in 2018, has roots in real-world mythology. A loyal follower of Lucifer, Pimon is mentioned in Ars Goetia, a demonology text that lists him as the king of hell. In fact, his full name is King Pimon. He's the leader of a legion of hellish spirits and enjoys the devotion of cult followers on Earth too. This is depicted in the film when a secret cult summons him from hell to be brought onto the mortal plane. As we mentioned before, Pimon is regal, cold, and calculative. His aim isn't to host a body and destroy a family. Pimon wants to wield power and hold dominion over the human plane. In traditional lore, he's represented as a king riding a camel with a crown jewel on his head and attendants all around. He also rewards his followers with wealth, fame, and power, but often at a very dear cost. Pimon rules with with an iron fist and requires blood sacrifices from his followers to appease him. The Graham family is the victim of this gradual resurrection in the movie. The ambiguous end of the film, where Peter's body is placed like a god figure, hints at the possibility that King Pimon isn't done. His crusade has just begun. Azazel, Fallen. Another demon originating from Christian religious texts is Azazel. The texts describe it as one of the fallen angels cast out of heaven during Lucifer's rebellion. Azazel is also said to be responsible for teaching humanity forbidden knowledge, which is linked to rebellion and corruption in human nature. However, in the 1998 film Fallen, Azazel is a more personal and psychological entity. It doesn't rely much on rituals or artifacts, but instead on its cunning and sadistic nature to break down a person by destroying the world around them. The film chronicles Detective Hobbs' investigation into murders initially attributed to a serial killer, Edgar Reese, but later revealed to be the work of Azazel. The case becomes more complex when Hobbs discovers Azazel's unique ability to possess any living being with just a touch. Hobbs nearly defeats Azazel by destroying the host, Jonesy, and then killing himself, leaving no body for Azazel to possess. But still, the demon survives by possessing a nearby cat, showcasing its immortality. This ability to possess anything within its vicinity makes Azazel extremely powerful. It can even survive for a short time without a host. Despite lacking a physical form, Azazel is a cunning schemer, retaining its host memories and knowledge, enabling it to speak any language across human history. The only weakness in its arsenal is its inability to possess a morally upright person. This is evident when Azazel struggles to possess Hobbs and ultimately resorts to using a cat.
This is what it's all about.
Crowley Supernatural. We've seen scary, violent, and hideous demons, but nothing compared to the entertaining character of Crowley from the Supernatural franchise. With a British accent, suave demeanor, and cheeky humor, Crowley stands out as one of the most enthralling demons on screen. Before becoming a demon, Crowley was Fergus Roderick MacLeod, a 17th century Scottish tailor. Cunning and deceitful even in life, he sold his soul to a crossroads demon to exact revenge on his enemies, unknowingly damning himself to an eternity in hell. There, he eventually became a demon himself. Throughout the series, Crowley oscillates between villain and anti-hero, at times a friend to the show's heroes, the Winchesters, and at others, their sworn enemy. Crowley's actions are always motivated by personal gain and power. Crowley enters the series as the King of the Crossroads in Season 5, and quickly rises to become the King of Hell in Season 6. His rise is fueled by devious schemes and an opportunistic mindset. While powerful in traditional demon terms, Crowley's true strength lies in his political mastery and ability to dismantle Hell's hierarchy. This cunning enables him to achieve occasional victories over powerful beings like Lilith and even Satan. The Cenobites Hellraiser series. Our next entry comes from the mind of Clive Barker, first introduced in the novella The Hellbound Heart, 1986, and later in the Hellraiser film franchise, starting in 1987. The Cenobites are best remembered as the villains with pins protruding from their faces. Their motivations and stories vary across films, books, and comics, but their constant desire to test the limits of pain and pleasure marks them as sadomasochistic entities. Although the name includes hell, the Cenobites have no direct connection to religious depictions of the place. They are beings from another dimension called the Labyrinth, ruled by a godlike entity known as Leviathan. The dark, sadistic nature of this dimension likely inspires their association with Hellraisers. The Cenobites enter the mortal world through cracks in space and time, accessed using specific artifacts. The most notable is the puzzle box Lament configuration. In Hellbound Hellraiser 2, it's revealed that the Cenobites were once human, converted by Leviathan's power. As the franchise evolved, their role shifted closer to traditional concepts of evil, even including aspirations of world domination. Cenobites vary in appearance and abilities, but some traits are universal. They can manifest anywhere at will and display telekinetic powers, often summoning chains and hooks from shadows to attack victims. Highly resistant to damage and possessing superhuman strength, the Cenobites are both terrifying and nearly indestructible. Bou Sinister. In the horror movie verse, Bou is a relatively recent addition. The central antagonist of the Sinister film series, Bou made its debut in 2012. Its name derives from Boogeyman, as it often lurks in shadows while secretly orchestrating its evil plans. According to its lore, Bou is an ancient pagan deity known as the Eater of Children, consuming their souls to sustain itself. Bou captures the minds of children, manipulating them into killing their families. It enters their lives through cursed items such as photographs, videos, and audio recordings. In the first Sinister film, Ellison Oswalt finds a collection of Super 8 films in his new home. containing footage of families being brutally murdered by children under Bagul's influence. The same fate befalls Ellison's family when his daughter becomes Bagul's next victim. In Sinister 2, it's revealed that Bagul can use souls of dead children to lure new victims, perpetrating its cycle of violence. Despite various attempts to stop it, Bagul remains an unstoppable force, continuing to prey on children and destroy families. Malus, Annabelle's demon. The Conjuring universe. The demon from the Conjuring universe is best remembered through a creepy Annabelle doll. Malus is a vindictive demon who relishes causing suffering and pain to its victims. It can exist independently, but often attaches itself to something to haunt and terrorize. In Annabelle Creation, Samuel Mullins, a toy maker, makes the doll and gifts it to his daughter Annabelle. One day, while returning from church, she runs into the road while her parents are fixing the car's tire. She's struck by a passing car and dies on the road. The Mullins, unable to cope with the pain, pray to anything and everything to bring their daughter back. Malthus sees this as an opportunity to enter a host. It convinces the parents to allow it to enter the doll as its vessel, and brings Annabelle back to life. The Mullins soon realize that it is not their daughter, but a demonic entity that has entered their lives. They seek the church's help and seal the doll in a closet, lining it with Bible pages, hoping the danger is contained. But as we see in other Annabelle films and the Conjuring movies, Malthus finds a way to free itself from the closet and terrorize John and Mia Form, and later the Warrens, who consider it the most dangerous artifact in their collection. The creepy doll has become a symbol of horror among modern movie fans. Although people don't remember what Malthus the demon looks like, the drooping, creepy eyes of the Annabelle doll are a very difficult sight to forget. The Gentleman, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Demons in suits? Yes, that's what the gentlemen look like. Appearing in episode 10, season 4, named Hush, in the Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, they're a group of creatures known for stealing the voices of their victims. In the Buffy universe, Rupert Giles, a Watcher, had a book of folktales that told the story of the gentleman, who stole the voices of an entire kingdom before the princess screamed and killed them. They aim to collect 7 human hearts to perform an ultimate ritual we never learn about, but because their victims cannot scream or speak, this cold-blooded, sinister, murderous intent makes them very scary villains. In the episode, Buffy has a dream that foretells the gentleman's arrival in Sunnydale. The 6 demons arrive in town and gather the voices of its inhabitants in a box. Buffy's able to break the box with the help of Riley Finn, just after they have collected 5 hearts. Buffy screams and explodes their heads. Forever silent and always grinning through their metallic teeth, the gentlemen carry out their activities with poise and eerie composure. They don't walk, but rather levitate above the ground to go from one place to the next. Once they steal the voices, destroying them with any weapon is impossible, as only a human voice or a scream can kill them. Conclusion. Often causing nightmares, these horrific villains are often a source of amazing entertainment and memories for horror fans around the world. With this genre gaining popularity, we expect further additions to this canon of demons and creatures. The rich backstories and origins steeped in mythology and intricately constructed narratives have the power to come back again and again to haunt us. Who scared you the most when you first saw them? Would some other spooky creatures have made the list? Let us know in the comments below. We'll see you soon in the next episode of Marvelous Videos. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks everyone.